Assalamu alaikum students. Welcome back to our English communication class. This is our second class. Hope you learned well from our last class. Today our topic is talking about experiences, our school experiences we had in a past time. Okay. Before we start, I want you to think about your school. Okay. I want you to think about your school experiences. Just think about your school. What kind of things you need to think? Your first day at school, your favorite teacher, your best friend, your exams, your homework. We all have memories from school life. You better know that. Some memories are happy, some are funny, and some are very sad because we have different kind of activities. Some sad moments, some funny moments, some happy moments with our teachers, with our friends. So today we are going to learn how to talk about those memories in English naturally. Okay? By the end of this lesson, you will be able to speak about or talk about your past experiences, compare your experience with others, and speak more confidently in English. So here, what we need to understand, you can see part 1. What does remember means? First of all, what does remember mean? So remember means to keep something in your mind from the past. Okay, to keep something in your mind from the past. For example, I remember my first teacher. I remember playing football with my friends. I remember my friend helping me. Okay, so you remind your past experiences. Okay, in this part we have a structure. Okay, I remember plus noun. So you can see in your book the first example, I remember plus noun. So you can say I remember his ketchup sandwich. Okay, now listen carefully. Here, noun. What is noun? Noun can be person, thing, place, or an object. Okay? Noun can be thing, place, person, or an object. We call it noun. Okay? So here in this sentence, sandwich is noun. Okay? He say, I remember plus noun. So here sandwich is noun. So the speaker is remembering something from school life. Okay? He remembers something from his or her school life. So I give you more examples. I remember my classmates. I remember my classroom. I remember our sports activities. I remember playing with my friends. So these are activities you remembering. Okay? Then we have some explanation expressions. Okay? When we use, okay? We are remembering a thing or person directly. Okay? We are remembering a thing or a person directly. Here, in this structure, I remember plus verb plus ing. Okay, I remember plus verb plus ing. So how we use it? I remember eating lunch with my friends. I remember eating lunch with my friends. Why do we use eating here? Because After remember, we often use verb plus ing when talking about past activities. Okay? I remember plus verb plus ing. So why we use ing after this? So because after remembering or after remember, we often use verb plus ing when talking past activities. Okay? For example, I remember playing football with my friends. So, I remember playing. So, you was playing that time in the previous life. Okay? I remembering playing football with my friends. I remember studying late at night. So you are remembering that you are studying at that time. I remember walking at school. I remember walking at school. I remember laughing with my classmates. I remember laughing with my classmates. So here, one thing more you need to note and you need to write down how native speakers remember, how they talk, and how they communicate. Native English speakers use the structure naturally when talking about memories. For example, I remember watching cartoons after school. I remember feeling nervous before exam. Okay, you feel nervousness before exam or you have test at your school. I remember getting my first good grade. I remember getting my first good grade. So these sentences sound natural and fluent. Next part, I remember plus someone plus verb and ing. Now let's move to the next structure. What is our next structure? I remember plus someone plus verb and ing. I remember my teacher helping me. Okay, I remember my teacher helping me. This means you remember some other person doing an action. Okay, I remember my teacher helping me. It means that you are thinking about third person, someone helping you or someone help you. Okay, so you are remembering, you are going towards third person or you are thinking about third person. Okay, for example, you can create some more sentences related to next person. Okay, I remember my mother waiting for me at school. I remember my mother waiting for me at school. I remember my friend sharing his lunch with me. I remember my teacher planning to take us for a trip. I remember student shouting during sports day, right? I remember student shouting during sports day. You can say I remember students having fun on their sports week. Okay? So these are the sentences you can create. Next part, I remember plus someone plus used to plus verb. Okay? So here we used past habits, repeated actions, or things that happen regularly in the past. Example, I remember my friend used to play football every day. I remember my friend used to play football every day. Okay, so this is the previous experience. You think and you remember someone, you think about someone and you deliver that in a sentence. Some more example for you. You can repeat with me. Okay, repeat with me. I remember my teacher used to give us candy. I remember my teacher used to give us candy. You can change this like that. I remember my teacher used to give us chocolate because I gave you chocolate before, right? I remember we used to wear uniforms every day. I remember my father used to help me with homework. You can change like this. I remember my siblings, or you can say I remember my brother used to help me with homework. Okay, so these are the structure you need to follow. Okay, so here next part, how we compare similar experiences and different experiences. Okay, when someone has the same experience as you can say like this. Okay, if someone have the same experiences like you can say, oh, that's happened to me. Or you can say, I remember doing that too. Okay, if someone say, oh, I forget to do my homework. Oh, that's happened to me. Oh, I'm so sorry for you if you change opinion, if you never had that kind of experience. Okay, example for you. I forget my homework once. You can say, if happened to you. Oh, that's happened to me too. Oh, that's happened to me too. Next, I remember feeling excited before exams. Remember feeling excited before exams. So you can say, oh, you're nervous? I never feel like that. So different of this is your different opinion. Okay, it's not similar opinion. So your opinion can be similar or different. Okay. Now, let's talk about real school life experiences so we can practice, okay? I remember doing homework late at night. Sometimes I felt tired, but homework helped me learn new things, okay? About exams, I remember feeling nervous before exam. Many students feel stressed during exam because they want good grades. Okay, so this is our 7 portion. You can see at your book. Okay, see at your book. Time to talk. These are the some topics, other students, homework, exams. So we need to create sentences. Okay, we need to discuss with our friends. So I want you to choose one topic and communicate, change of dialogues between you two. Okay, so here the next topic is teacher. So about teacher, you can say, I remember my teacher. I remember my English teacher. He always encouraging us to speak in English. Okay, he always encouraging us, or me, you can say, he always encouraging me to speak English step by step. Good teacher helps students. Good teacher helps students. Believe in themselves. Okay, believe in themselves. So you can create like this. So about school time or about school trips. I remember going school trips when I was at grade 7. Okay, when you was grade 7, so you remembering about your experiences. Okay, so you can say like this: I remember going on school trip with my classmate. School trips are fun. School trips are funny. School trips are fun because students learn outside the classroom. Okay, so you can create according to this. Now, English is about expressing your thoughts, memories, feelings, and experiences. Okay? So now, English is about expressing your thoughts, memories, feelings, and experiences. The more you practice speaking about real life, it more confident your English will become more good, more confident, and more natural. Do not be afraid of mistake. I told you before, okay? Mistakes are part of learning, so you try. You try more. If you do mistakes, there is no worries, okay? You try more so you can learn more. So now I give you a homework for practice. So create a video using these topics: school, school trips, lunchtime, meeting with your friends. So you can choose your own topic and create 1 or 2 minutes conversation. Okay, you first write a script, write down, practice, and try to speak, because I want to you speak naturally. Okay, speak your speaking vocabulary. I want to check, and I will give you comments. Okay, just post in your line group. Okay, thank you, have a good day, enjoy today class.